No, you're
But
doing
I
great.
guess it's Discord's noise suppression.
The one thing Discord did right. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure it's coming through on Twitch. Okay. Do 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 do. All right, Mr. W, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Mr. W, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm here.
There it goes. Okay, it is working. Wow, that's a big delay. Holy shit. um, yeah. So hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. Mindful Pig here and Mr. JW. And today we're gonna have a special kind of episode. So I decided to switch it up. Um, I do kind of like a business episode, so to speak. We're going to be talking first about like the history of the Two Tired Dudes podcast, because we have a lot of new members that have joined the Discord. Some are interested in hopping onto it, and also we got season 4. It's going to be coming up next year. And in all honesty, I'm sure JW is the same way. This next 2 3 months, whatever it is going to be chaotic. Not just for work, but also for projects I want to do. I have the award shows to take care of, a few other little events before the year is wrapped up. So I just probably won't have a lot of time to sit down and make this kind of business meeting. So yeah, I figured it'd be a fun little episode to do. Um, Before all that, though, and we jump into that as we always end up doing anyway. JW, have you been playing anything cool? Any other updates since the last podcast?
Not really. Been playing more Hell is Us, but otherwise not really. I haven't had time.
Are you getting close to finishing that one?
Not at all. I'm still at the pretty sure I'm still at the beginning. It's just I take time to explore every like pixel, so
Oh,
it
okay.
takes me a long time. I'm like 15 hours in, but I'm only at like Synanon Lake, which is like the third or fourth location, and apparently there are many more. So
Oh, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it just shows you actually like the game you're playing.
no, for sure, and you know it's really much an adventure game in every way of of the word. Like you really need to explore if you want to do everything, and it's super fun.
That's awesome, my dude.
What,
Um,
what about you?
yeah, I was just trying to think if I could say anything. Oh yeah, yeah. It was I kind of put a little pause there on Resident Evil, and I was going wild with How to Survive too. Just I just really got into it all of a sudden. I was like, I just want survival. Yeah, like I, you know, talked about the game enough before. Just really good survival mechanics. Like I said, if you liked State of Decay, you'll probably like this one a hell of a lot more. I think it just does a better job with it, from the survival aspect all the way to the combat to the zombies, etc. Just a really fun game. Excited to wrap that one up at one point, but this week I have to finish up Resident Evil before the month's over. But yeah, so hey Sheila, how's it going? Um, for those of you that don't know, to give like a little recap of it all, so the Two Tired Dudes podcast is pretty much this. Like, this was my original idea with it. It was a chance for the people from the basement gaming community to join together, and just talk about what they played last week, what stream projects they have coming up, what their streaming schedule might look like. So my original idea was, before even we talked about Two Tired Dudes, was to have like a news, um, I guess like a weekly news report, and I was gonna take everyone's schedules and stuff like that, and just like kind of just announce it, so just keep getting that word out. Like this week, JW is gonna be doing his Indiana Jones video, but I learned over time that my community doesn't have a lot of scheduling. So doing a weekly news report would have been pointless because everyone streams when they want to, right? They when they have an event, right? It's usually either that week or whatever it's going to be announced by. So anyway, it didn't make sense. So I scrapped that idea, and then yeah, and then we came with the Two Tired Dudes podcast. I had originally Fun Dead, that was a part of it. he just was like, yeah, I think you could make a really cool podcast. You should try it. I'll co-host with you. So we did, and that's pretty much what it was. We just were in a Minecraft world. That was the original setting. And the idea was that people would join the Minecraft world, and we would do like the little, I guess, interview, so to speak, of each person within that room. And that idea probably lasted, I think, about 2 or 3 episodes. And then Fun Dad wanted to switch over to Fortnite, and he wanted to play games while doing it, so we did it that way. And then we went back to the Minecraft world. It was kind of chaotic the first season. I'm not gonna lie. If you ever go back and listen to them, it's like, I mean, I've had issues with the Chromebook, but doing it on the Xbox, the podcast, it was real shit audio. Like, I can't even enjoy
Oh,
them.
like Xbox.
Oh my god, it's terrible. Like, it's really hard to just sit there and listen to them, which is a shame because we had some really good topics and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just a terrible setup that I had. And then came the Chromebook, and we switched over to doing it on the Discord. And yeah, like it was, I don't know. I think Fun Dead was maybe in it for about 20 episodes, maybe less than that, maybe like 15. And then I just kind of threw it out there in the wild. I was like, "Hey, I need a co-host. Who wants to do this with me?" JW finally stepped in at that point. At the beginning, right, it was just to kind of help out. Like, I don't think he was going to do it forever with me. And I look at us, we're 3 seasons in, and we're we're still doing the podcast together. Which
Yeah,
to
I was
me,
not expecting to be there every day, honestly.
oh, I'm really happy you did. Like, honestly, you know, put a pause on the whole podcast aspect. I feel like I got to bond more with you and get to know you more, and I think honestly, doing this with you really strengthened my friendship with you. Yeah, just something that I really look forward to. Like I said, I always find whatever games you're
And
gonna
the
play.
same with me.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, I always find whatever games you're gonna play really interesting. It's nice hearing your takes, from them. See if it's gonna be a game that I might enjoy or vice versa. But yeah, so anyway, JW joined, and he kind of just went, full turkey into it. I don't really think I explained any background to him or anything like that. He just, we hopped in and we
No.
kind of kind of roll with it, right? From that point. So, your first really great idea was, just telling me about the editing process, and giving me that hint of like, hey, a lot of other podcasts, they talk about things, but they don't ever really give you visuals with it. So we started to put visuals in there, whether it was just a clip of whatever that person was talking about, or a trailer of their game, or screenshots, or whatever I could add in, right, to really help out that person with their conversation. And then we toyed with the idea of doing face cams, but the reason why we never really have is just because I'm on the Chromebook. Honestly, that's stopping a lot of great potential. Um, but when I tried to do it on the Chromebook, it sometimes works between if it's just me and JW, like the audio will be fine. But the minute like a third person comes in or a fourth person, the Chromebook can't handle it on Discord, I guess, and it just starts to really fuck up with my audio. Even if JW himself is just in the video, it was still managing to fuck up my audio. So I don't know. Um, just yeah, does
Even
this?
now, sometimes it pops up even without the video, so it's just the shitty Chromebook.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, thank God it's not too terrible as it was in the video. Like the video, it was just he couldn't make out a word I was saying. Like it was just dog shit. It was really bad. Um, yeah. So anyway, uh as we kept going forward, right, he had the idea of taking on current gaming events. So again, the original idea was just this news report on what your stream's going to be, and what you play that week. And then that just became the recap, and then the main focus started to become more on the gaming news, which is really exciting, also really hard to every week find something to talk about. Like there's lots of good gaming news. I've talked to this about JW before, right? But just sometimes it's hard to pull everybody else in. Like JW's excited, he'll talk to me about stuff, and give me his thoughts and ideas. But then when you got, random people that are joining in, sometimes it's hard to pull that information out of them, right? They might not have an opinion, the I might suffer through that dead air moment and quickly scramble and think of a different question to ask, right? So yeah, it has its pros and cons basically. And I originally had it where we had our little cheesy endings at to finish it off, where we said one thing we liked or something positive, whatever it was, and then that changed over to Twitter's hot takes, on the negative side of things, just saying if we agreed or disagreed with whatever this person has. So the
Because
whole
Michael loves to piss me off.
I mean, it is good when you're mad because like you always have a solid answer for it. But yeah, it's that lead up to that answer that's always great. Um, but the whole reason why I'm spewing all this out, right, is JWB never really had a chance to sit down, and I never really got to hear like fully his investment of what he thinks and what he would like to see for the future of the podcast. So, this episode's going to be now switching over to him and a lot of like his takes, and then also for you guys in the audience, right? So we're live right now. So if you have ideas, Sheila, if you're there, of things you'd like to see for the podcast, maybe you're tired of it being 2 hours. Maybe if I watch a lot of podcasts, I know most of them usually go to the hour, maybe an hour and 30 minutes, especially with gaming, and they usually cut it off at that point, right? We usually go 2 hours because people like to talk. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe you don't like the rambling. Maybe you want it to be a little bit more fast paced, or whatever the case is. Maybe you don't like the recap. Maybe you don't like the gaming news. Like whatever it is, I just want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Like I said, didn't expect this to go up to, now almost 4 seasons. But it is, and I don't have any real need to quit. I love doing it, even if I only get 10 views or 20 views, whatever the case is. Would love to get that 600 again though. But like I just want to know what keeps you guys interested, what keeps you watching it. Obviously, we have a very loyal audience because, like I said, most of the time it's between that 20 view range, now up to even 30 views sometimes. So there's people that like what they're watching. So yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to discuss this. Hey there, Django. But more importantly, like I said, I want to give JW the floor because we never really got to hear what he thought about the podcast and doing it every week and all that. So, sorry, Mr. JW, the floor is yours, my dude.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be the sole, the singled out voice in this.
Well, we can still bounce
What
ideas,
I
right?
think,
But yeah, I just want to, I never really got to hear your own like thoughts and opinions on the podcast. As we progressed, we kind of, like I said, we had cliff notes every once in a while, but you never really got to hear that full review, so to speak.
sure. Uh, what I think is that it's hard sometimes to do a podcast when there are many people, many different voices, and many subject that bounces around. But we've somehow managed it, I think, for in many cases, which was cool. I like your ideas of making seasons, out of the podcast, where there's like you were saying at the beginning, there was a Minecraft season, there was a gaming season. I like the idea that every year the podcast could be revamped into a different subject or a different way of doing things. So that's a good opportunity for next season, right? And that's pretty much it. I don't have much to add more.
Sorry, I was just like, I'm gonna get better at this. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let him talk. um, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, but like, it's a half year baby too, right? So like when it comes to the topics that we discuss, when it comes like to the gaming news and all that, or even like like you and me talked about before, like where would you like to see some cuts? So I know we've kind of discussed in the background about like maybe sometimes we do too much about lifestyle and we need to draw it back in, right? Like
Well, that's one thing actually I wouldn't do lifestyle. Like I don't like to talk about myself, and my main subject that I love is like stories in general. So I love games, I love films, I love to talk about those. I'm not necessarily interested in if I ate spaghetti last night or whatever.
very true. No, that's fair.
Which goes the same for the people I'm listening to. Sorry for anyone that talked about their life.
No, it's fair, right? Like, I mean, these are things that we have to look into. Okay, so that is good to know. So I was always curious about that because I know a few times I think you were like, no, you like, not like no, let's talk about games, but you kind of like were helping me push that thing back on track. But I was always curious if you still liked in the recap us talking about movies or TV shows. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother you when we're talking about that.
No, not at all. Like I say, I think people in general as well prefer when we talk about, various sub we can explain stuff or review stuff.
Okay, okay.
I
And
think
then
that's more interesting.
I think what about the topics that I always do and stuff like that? Are there always things that you would rather have us covered, like when it comes to like the main meat and potatoes of the podcast?
If there were more stuff that needed to be covered,
Like, do you like that
not
we do the gaming news, or would you rather us have um like back okay a couple seasons ago, right? I used to always have to think of the questions and make them up. So I'd be like, like what's better, wireless controllers or wired controllers? What's the difference, or discussing the difference between digital and physical media. Like I used to go like all bunch of different like subjects and topics when it came to gaming. Like, what do you prefer as the co-host?
I prefer the gaming news than like two opposing ideas and which one is best. I think I prefer the gaming news over that.
Okay, good. Because I said, like, most weeks, right? More likely it would be you and me, right? So I'd rather have a good chemistry when talking to you. You know what I mean? Than me just
We
trying to
always have good
predict.
chemistry, I think.
Oh yeah, no, we have excellent chemistry, but you know what I mean. I just always want to make sure that I'm asking the right questions. I guess
Yeah,
each
for
week.
sure. But what do you see for the future, really? Because actually, what I was saying in the past is that sometimes we're the host, so we're supposed to direct the conversation, and sometimes we would just let go stuff and instead of directing, right? So that was my previous comment in the past that I made, that we should, like, not necessarily dictatorship, but just to transition back somehow into the conversation at hand, right, or to the podcast.
I'm so glad you bring that up because okay, I've JW knows this. I've talked to him before about it, right? But I am the worst person for telling someone be like, hey, your time's up, like or like shut up,
That's what
you
I
know.
mean. You don't do that, like a way of like going anyway. So, or speaking of, ways to transition. You don't go like, "Hey, man, shut the fuck up. It's over."
Yeah, so I mean that is a good one to bring up, right? Okay, so like I mean, I guess yeah, the plain simple answer is just to say like, well, anyways, or rephrase it. But I was even debating like, of should we have a buzzer when someone's too long,
No,
and they just know, okay, that would be rude. Okay, so just casually, like just basically saying, yeah, the time's up. And I guess I don't know because I know I do find that a lot
because
of the
you
podcasts,
have
right?
is to have a conductive conversation, right? So if you have a buzzer or something indicate that it's over, unless it's like part of a game or something, is not good.
Very true. Okay. I was toying with a whole bunch of ideas. I was like, what would be the easiest way for me to handle this? But no, just man up, mindful. Just do the task.
But to go back to my previous question, you see, exactly like I did here. To go back to my previous question, what would you want to see as a new way of doing things for the next season?
Well, like I expressed to you, right? Like
Like,
sometimes I feel like maybe I just have the wrong gaming news that week to talk about. That's something I would like to know more with you about. So in other words, like, should we have 10 different things? Do I need 15 different things? I just sometimes I feel like there just isn't enough, I guess, meat on that bone to talk about. So that maybe that would be better. Or maybe I should just send you like, hey, this is what I was thinking earlier in the week. and then you could add your notes on there. Or
Actually, my question is more. So you want to stick with video games still?
uh,
That was my
I mean, I
question
have been
because, like
enjoying
you were
it.
saying, yeah, because you were saying like various season has been different subjects and stuff like that. So I was wondering if you wanted to stick with video games still, or if you really wanted to completely change.
I think honestly, I think we've done a better job. I think I guess for me it's not even like different every season. For me it's almost like it was evolving every season. Like it was just slowly finding its path, this podcast and what it wanted to do. Like I said, for me at the end of the day, the main objective was always still going to be the same, and that's to give each member a chance to talk about the video games they played in, how do I say this? In hopes to inspire others to play that game. So the same way that I feel when you talk about games, like I get excited, I'm like, oh, this one sounds cool. My questions are usually really genuine to you. Like I'm actually like curious about this mechanic or that mechanic or how you felt during this part or whatever, right? I would love that to be the same for anybody that's on the podcast, right? When they talk about a game. Like I said, nothing kills me more than when I ask someone like, "Oh, cool, what'd you play this week?" I played Mad Max. Oh yeah, how was that? It was good. And I was like, okay, well, fuck, man, like, give me something, Where I said it's very easy with you, right? Because I know you'll actually give me a proper answer, right? You'll at least talk about the game a little bit. So maybe it's making, I don't know, maybe it's making that clearer to people when they join the podcast. Maybe that's something I need to work on. But
To make it clear, you need to you need to have opinion.
exactly, right?
Prerequisite. Please bring your opinions.
Please be willing to discuss. um, sorry there, Jago. I could talk all day. Oh, my things.
What?
No, I was just trying to read Jago's chat. I just had to make my screen a little bigger. I could talk about Skyrim all day. Well, you know what? That's fine. You could totally talk about Skyrim. I have no problem with that. Like I said, that's the whole point of the podcast. But yeah, so that was my main thing, right? Like I still would like the podcast to have that part of it, whether that's just the recap like we have been doing, or what if that becomes a more main feature. I guess that's something we'll find out as the podcast keeps going. But I do want people to have that moment. I also, like I said at the end, having the little round robin, where it's a chance for everyone to talk about what their future projects are for streaming, whatever future video they're working on. I think embracing community should always be a part of the podcast. It doesn't have to be the main part of it, but that's kind of how we built Basement Gaming, right? And what it's been all about. So the podcast should have some reflection of that core value. But as far as the podcast itself, I don't know. I think gaming is worthwhile, or we could do gaming and entertainment if you want to expand into talking about movies and stuff.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm interested in all of those, so I don't mind. My question was more if you wanted to have a change or just stick more with what we've been doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think sticking more with it. But I would be interested. Okay, so obviously we bring up gaming topics from, like, Twitter or wherever else we find it, right? What would we do for movies then? Would it be the same idea, or like what do you picture when you think about talking about movies or TV shows?
No, I mean they're pretty much the same as the gaming when it comes to news. There are always behind the scenes stuff, and uh, they have the same kind of news. It's just slightly different. So I wouldn't see. I don't see how it would be different than if you search for gaming news.
Okay. I'd be down for it. Like, I'm willing to try it. I just, I'd probably, like you said, if I send you a list in the beginning, right, just say, hey, which of these conversations do you think would be the most interesting to actually talk about?
That's good. Yeah,
And then
like I'm
Jag,
pretty easy with what
no, no, go ahead, buddy.
we could do. Right, I don't have a specific idea of a direction to take it, or oh yeah, we should absolutely do whatever.
Okay. Um, sorry, Django was just saying their movies are so broad. You can either have a breakdown, the selection down by decade, genre, or both. That's very true. Yeah, I mean it doesn't have to be newer
Yeah,
things too.
exactly. And we don't need to have all the same categories, for every episode as well. Maybe there's an episode that's more about movies. Maybe there's an episode that's more about games. Maybe there's an episode more about breakdowns or an episode more about the news.
I like
It,
that. Yeah,
it
that's a
can
cool
vary.
idea. Yeah, I like that because yeah, sometimes there are those dry months or weeks or whatever for gaming or even movies too. I'm sure. Um, yeah, that's a cool idea. Okay, I like that one.
And
Well,
I love breakdowns. That's what I do with a lot of my videos and streaming, with the writing behind certain games and stuff that I like. So of course I wouldn't mind doing a breakdown.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Also, sorry, just a random shout out, but yesterday was Django's birthday, so happy birthday to Mr. Django. If you,
Happy birthday, man.
yeah, um,
I hope you get a dragon for your birthday.
that'd be pretty bold, pretty sweet. Um, how do you feel? Because we've done a few of these random events too. How do you ever feel about having on the podcast like just random I don't know how to label it. I guess random fun stuff. So example, I did a video game quiz one episode back in the day. Um, we had um, we had some playthroughs in Halloween time where I was playing Emily. At the time, I was by myself. I can't remember. I think it was during the times that Funded was on and off. But anyway, I played like a stupid game like Emily or Five Nights at Freddy's, and at the same time, I was trying to talk about horror news or whatever it was. We also did another episode too, where I covered all of the video game horror stories. So whatever the season was, I was trying to relate stuff. But anyway, how do you feel about like little fun episodes like that, like just random ones, where we either related to a season or we have like a little stupid quiz thing at the end? Do you like those ones during the podcast, or would you rather have it stick with its main roots?
No, no, it's good. It's a good idea to have, sometimes games or for special, seasons like Halloween or whatever. No, I like those, like the Christmas Game Awards and all that. And
Okay.
but I know that, because from it's not all, it depends what you want, right? If you want to grow and succeed with the podcast, what actually, with most YouTube videos, what works is a specific subject where there's not an expert or someone that like these videos where someone knows about survival and they do only survival videos.
Yep.
Those are the videos that gets the best in the algorithm, right? Because they're very specific, so they're easy um, to expand, to give to people, right? That would be interested in all that. So as of now, it's been pretty chaotic and loosey goosey a bit with how we do things. And personally, that's what I like. I like with it. For me, it's more relaxed, that we just go with the flow and
Okay.
whatever. That's what I prefer. But so what I like and what is needed if you want to grow is different, is what I mean.
Okay. Yeah,
Do
like
you get what I mean?
I totally get what you mean. Like I know maybe I sound really stupid saying this, but like for me, like obviously growth is important. Like I understand that and I do want that right in the future. But exactly how you just described it, like I like that feeling. If I know like example, if you're just having a great time and you're just enjoying the conversation, to me that's so much more important than the 10 extra views, the 20 extra views, right? Hopefully yeah, other people will watch it and they'll be like, I like this. It's just chill to listen to while I'm working or whatever. And then we could grow an audience that way. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, at the end of the day, as long as everyone's having a good time in the podcast, to me, that's the most important part at this point.
Yeah, me too.
Like I said, the whole discussion
It's
is
just
sorry.
it depends what's the objective, right?
I think, well, I said my personal objective is just to have like that community podcast every 2 weeks, where people could just talk about whether their streams that are coming up so that other people are aware of it. And then on the other side of the coin, right, just to kind of talk about the games that we played this week. And hopefully someone else will purchase that game because of what we talked about.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, just constantly putting out that community vibe, right? So that hopefully the Discord can grow. And then, like I said, those people will travel over to your Discord. You'll travel over to someone else's. Everyone just kind of supporting and helping one another. I don't know, it's an angle I know a lot of people disagree with, and I've been in a lot of discords and had a lot of conversations that people go like, communities don't grow other communities. So I guess in a way I'm trying to fight that view set, that mindset that people have with that. I think everyone can be successful. Yes, some will be much better at it, like I'm not gonna make fucking great movie breakdown videos. Like that's JW's thing, and if that's what you're looking for, then that's where you're gonna be going towards, right? Um, Same with a Z chick, right? Like I'm never gonna be able to stream as much as she does. So if you're looking for regular content, I'm obviously hoping that she's gonna be successful, and so forth, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah, I have so much trouble streaming.
yeah,
Honestly,
I
I don't
think
have a good schedule.
like for me at the end of the day, like if we just keep gathering more people into the Discord, then my objective would be to offer them the best of whatever they're looking for. If they want to be a writer, hell yeah, man, like go to JW's. You're gonna find a lot of success there. If you just want to talk the shit and have a good time, then yeah, hang in this Discord, right? We got lots of people you could talk to. For me, that's my happiness at the end of the day, right? If next year I hear that you hit affiliate, this person grew their Discord by 10 people, this person had their YouTube channel become successful, yada yada yada. To me, that's success. That was the objective that I wanted to hit, I guess, so to speak. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not just rambling like an idiot right now.
No, it does.
um
And I think that's also influenced part of how I made my Discord as well. 'Cause it's about writing because that's what I do. I write, but I've also, put sections that intertwines with that. For example, like people that draws, so it intertwines with comic books, and intertwines with making covers for books. So I've put also creative sections that is not necessarily writing as well, and roles for people to identify with. So I think it's a good idea to include and not just make it specifically about books.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You got lots on your Discord that you offer. Yeah. um So I guess like the last ones were, and shout out to Hood, even though I laughed, but I really wasn't laughing at his question. But he had a good suggestion too. Do Tuesdays work? Have you been happy with Tuesdays? Um, is it something we might want to look into in the future as far as changing the day of the week?
Um, I have no problem with it, but that's because I don't have usually a schedule for after work, right?
Okay.
Where when I'm done, in the sense I'm often free once I'm done doing my day job, right? So for that, I don't have a specific day where I'm more free than another.
Okay.
So I really don't mind it.
Okay, so then maybe we'll do after this, and again, right? If you guys are in chat or you view it on YouTube later, just put in the comments if there's a different day that you would like. I'll also run a poll in the Discord and see if anybody has any particular day of the week that might be easier. Because obviously it'd be great to have Hood on here too. He's passionate. Like I said, every episode I've uploaded, he's usually in the comments now, and he drops something in there, right? just to support it. So
He's hilarious.
he is. He is so funny. He's I'm only laughing because the bastard he caught my mistake. It was like pretty close in the beginning there, but there was one where you were sick, and I was like, I meant to say like, wish you well, or something like that. And I ended up saying, yeah. So make sure you wish JW a good well in the comments. So the first comment on there was good well, JW. Sneaky bastard.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, no, he's a really funny guy. So I think it'd be really hilarious to, just hear his takes on some of these subjects. Because I know, like you, he's a little more vocal though with it about how he feels about some of the reviews and stuff that comes out. So it'd be really hilarious just to hear him go off.
Like when he talked about Horizon.
Yeah. Oh, or his ongoing Bella Ramsey joke.
That's a Discord joke, though. Let's keep it to the Discord.
Oh, it's so good though. I like his character. He's just super funny. So yeah, that's something we can throw out there too. And I guess the only other one I had was at the end of the year. I know it was kind of hard. I guess maybe I was explaining it right to a lot of people, but now, right, that at the end of the year, I like to do our big 2025 recap, and the idea is it's any game you played that year. Um, that would be your game of the year. So, for example, last year I picked Resident Evil 4. Obviously, it didn't come out in 2024, but it was a game I played. I really enjoyed it. And I gave my thoughts and opinions. And usually we have about 6, 7 people that are on the podcast, and they're all sharing that thought. Do you like that idea? Or, because I know when you first came on, right, you thought it was literally that year that we were discussing. I know a lot of
Yeah.
podcasts usually do that particular year as their game of the year, but I don't know. I was trying something different, but yeah, just curious. Like, do you like that? Do you think it would be better if we just focused on the current year?
No, no, no. That it's good. It's just I didn't understand at first, but no, no. I like it as well.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I only played 2 games all year. Well, sorry, 3. That's okay, Django. You play them damn well. Like I said I was happy to see you actually played a new game. He was trying out Sons of the Forest.
Oh, cool. Well, I guess cool if that's your thing.
Yeah, he's got a whole freaking mansion there he's building out of wood. um,
Yeah, it's a big building game. Like it's supposed to be a survival game, but like every time I see someone play it, it's more like a building game. Like they're making their house and everything.
Very true. Yeah, no, very true. I think most of the shorts, because obviously the minute you talk about it, right, fucking YouTube right away is like, well, here, let me show you some videos about it.
Yeah. Well, if yeah, I guess it depends of your settings. Like you can turn off all of that.
Oh, I probably should then. Yes, I always get random shit popping up.
Because that means you're being listened to. So.
What was that? The Zane bought it for me. Couldn't waste a little ago. Oh, okay, someone got it for you. That was nice of them. No, I said, yeah, you seemed like you're really into it, Django. Said it's nice to see you trying out a different game than just Skyrim all the time. Not that Skyrim's bad, just saying. um,
That's okay. My wife is the same. She used to be only Skyrim until Baldur's Gate 3 came out.
yeah, you said she got really invested in that one.
Well, currently that's what she's playing while I'm doing this.
Nice.
Again. Like she finished the game many times.
Platinumed it probably
Must
like
have
6
like
times.
thousands of hours. I don't know.
The other one was End Zone. I haven't heard of that game, Django. I'll have to check that out. Not familiar with that one. So anyway, we talked about the history of the podcast, talked about Mindful Pig's objective and all that fun stuff. JW, I'm going to give you the biggest floor in the world right now. For those that I mean, at this point you should, but for those of you that don't know who JW is, you I think had a really interesting turnaround into becoming a content creator because like we first met, right, we first started talking, that wasn't something you were interested in. You were, your time was locked in. You only had time to write your book and obviously your own personal life. But things changed over time. Yeah, so if you don't mind, you want to give a little recap, a little history of how JW became the streamer that he is today, and what's your
This,
future goals?
it's a very generous word. Like I haven't done that much.
Yeah, but like I said, you literally
So
went
yes,
from like I'm not going to do this to like taking a step into that pond.
yeah. Well, I thought I would try it. Being surrounded by so many streamers, why not try it? But so to start to the beginning, really is like I've been writing for years, and on and off on stories that I wouldn't unfinished or whatever. But like since forever, I've been writing, and at some point, I decided to take it seriously and write one of my old ideas into a full fledged book, which I finished. So I ended up doing that, and after I thought as well it would be a good idea that to well also writing that making content linked to writing, right? So doing breakdowns, or even gaming because I like gaming, or all that. So I decided a couple of months ago, I think. Well, no, I guess it would be last year now.
Yeah,
Jeez. So I didn't do content every month, so I'm lost on how many months I've done content. But basically, I decided to try it, and when I try something, I try to go, full on. So I got a bunch of equipment, mic, webcam, all that set up with the OBS and everything, and tried a couple of stuff. Um, some stuff are better than others, of course, but I think I've interesting uh, way of doing all this and to make it work with the writing. It just it's been hectic trying to balance out everything. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess that's the history. It's not a very good chronological history, but that's the history.
no, it's good. It gets people to understand like where you started from and what you're trying to create.
Oh yeah, so if you want the full story, because that was the short version. If you want the full story, I was bored waiting at the bus at some point, and it like I couldn't sleep. Like I kept thinking about this stories and these characters, and it's just I was obsessed. Really, I was thinking about this all day. I couldn't sleep, and I was going mad. Point while I was waiting at the bus, I just decided to write my ideas in a book. I had a book with me of white pages, and I just decided to write ideas in them to jolt them down, and I could sleep that night afterwards. So I decided, well, let's not leave random notes. Let's actually do something with this. So I decided to start writing the inexistent, which is a sort of I would say cheesy mix between Mission Impossible and Suicide Squad, where a corporation takes a bunch of criminals and makes them do clandestine missions. And I'm really glad that I did because I love these characters. I love playing with this and the story I did. And I wrote other stuff in between. I wrote a short horror story that currently reworking. There's also a sort of mini stories of space adventure. So I've done many writing, but the one that that is the most complete and finished, and that I will be looking for an agent and all that is the inexistent one that I'm currently talking about. So really, I started doing it because I couldn't sleep and I needed to do something about it. So here we go.
That's so cool. I love the fact that like you literally just couldn't get these ideas out of your head. Like you were just so obsessed, you had to like you said, let them out, jot them down, and then they became
Well, I
these.
had the idea first that when I was in high school, and I don't know why, but that's later on when I was older and I was working a job and all that.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know why, but it was just haunting me. Like I said, I really couldn't sleep for like days. like until I couldn't sleep until I wrote something. So and I wasn't interested in making a movie because that means working with people, and I'm I prefer to do everything myself than work with people and they don't get the exact vision that I want.
Very true.
So I don't mind working with a couple of people, but big teams that I'm not interested in, or I'm not much of a camera guy either. So I thought a book I could learn everything and do everything by just writing a novel with it, and I learned a lot. I went from writing something that was like a shitty script to an actual real substantial really good novel. Like I learned a lot from reading books like the Stephen King memoirs, or the prose of how things sounds, and having tips online with videos, master classes, and Skillshare and all that. So yeah, no, I really got into it.
That's so cool. I can understand that too, because obviously not to the same scale that you're doing for a book, right? But just like editing a video and all that, like it's such a cool feeling. Teaching yourself, you know what I mean? Like just going through that process, like you said, and doing your own research on what needs to happen next and all that. It's just I don't know, it's really cool. It must be phenomenal for a book though to actually like write that last page and just close it and be like, I wrote this. Like that's a really cool feeling.
Uh, yes and no. In this sense, it's like never over. There's always some tweaking I want to do, but like I have to stop myself, so I
Yeah.
need to move on. So it's more like that.
And I was always
I need to
curious.
force myself on and find, a publisher and sell it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, the next stage. I was always curious too for
Which
your
is the part
video.
that least interests me, so that's why I still haven't done it yet.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was always curious. When it comes to your movie breakdowns, right? Or in the future case, your video game breakdown of Ghost of Tsushima. Um, obviously you have a I mean, you've watched a lot of movies, you've played a lot of games, so you have lots of selection. How the hell do you pick it, man? Like how do you decide like Spider-Man this time, Indiana Jones this time? Like what gave you that spark that would be in the right choice to go
Well,
with?
I think the first one I did was the Spider-Man one, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film. And it's because I had heard someone ask James Gunn, the director for Superman and Guardian of the Galaxy and all that, what was his favorite um, origin story specifically, not this, or favorite origin superhero or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good question. And I was thinking about what would be my favorite origin story, and like that bled into me. And that was probably, when I was thinking about it, it's not necessarily the best origin. The question is like the best telling of an origin of a superhero, right? And I think for me, it will always be the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, right? Because
Absolutely.
it tackles so much subject and themes, uh, and like, because like it looks like a dumb superhero movie, but it actually has like so much depth into the characters, their relationships, and how Peter needs to take on his responsibilities as a hero and all that. It's not just he's a hero and he gets the girl, right? It's a bit deeper than that. And I think sometimes people, because of how it has now become a meme, some of the scenes and faces and all that, they think it's a surface superhero film when it's actually not, right? So for me, that was my favorite origin story, or told origin story. And I wanted to talk about that. So that's what I did. And I really liked doing that. So I decided I would continue on. And so I did one for, after that, Indiana Jones. I wanted to see the link between the first Indiana Jones and the upcoming game, the Great Circle. But it ended up being something way deeper, where I sort of understood um, the whole cycle, and there was a sort of tragic angle to Indiana Jones I had never seen before until I did this breakdown. So that was really cool as well to discover, right? So I think I like doing those, and that's how it started, really.
That's cool, man. Okay, so it was more of like inspiration for you. Like you said, one of them was a quote, and the other one being the game itself that inspired it. That's wicked. Okay, I was always curious if you just kind of pre-planned it and had in your head, or if it was spontaneous, the ones you picked.
And why Ghost of Tsushima? Because I thought it was really good. Just this. It was such a good experience. The story, the whole game. There was more of a reason than that for the other ones. And I wanted to bring back the mirror board that I had used at some point when we explored the villain and heroes. That's
Oh
another
yeah.
one when I did that where I was. I don't know. I think someone asked. I think it was because I was talking with someone about a conversation where we were saying
I think
there
it
are
was
no
question
more
death.
good villains. There are now heroes and anti-heroes, like misunderstood villains. Like there are no more villainous villains. So I think it prompted from that, and did decide to do this with one of my friends. This whole conversation, of
Yeah.
of a scale and where it goes and what makes a good villain, what makes a good anti-hero. The question of Joel is a villain or a hero or an anti-hero or whatever in The Last of Us, So we explore a bunch of stuff there as well.
No, that's a solid point because it's very different nowadays. Like even we were just talking about a long time ago now. We were talking about the Spider-Man movie there, No Way Home or whatever, and just the cheesiness behind it, right? Versus what those villains used to
Um,
be. Yeah, yeah, no, 100%, right? I'm really upset that
and I'm
they.
sure in the future will be looked down upon as what we're rethinking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you're right. When you compare that to like Spider-Man 2 or, even the first Spider-Man, it's sad to see those epic villains kind of get turned into what they became in No Way Home.
Well, uh, I'm going a bit side. Well, we've sidetracked here, but I'm
I know, sorry.
sidetracking. Um, I'm sidetracked. Yes. So I thought, have you also tried to write some stuff, or am I misremembering this?
No, no, no. Yeah, I've written some stuff in the past. You're right.
Is that something you want to proceed to, like to continue more, to discover, or like do you want? Is that something you want to incorporate into this whole thing, or is
Uh
that more of a passing thing? So.
no, absolutely. I've always been interested in like writing a short story or something like that. Like you said before, I had at least one idea for sure that's always been circling in my head back and forth. But I've always thought the idea of creating a world and characters and all that was really interesting and fascinating. I think yeah, I think it'd be really cool to do that. Um, like I think I shared it with you a long time ago, so it's totally fine that you don't remember. There was a story about like a detective and a character, right, that had events that he would occur with, sorry, events that he would make happen throughout the story that were obviously very chaotic. And like I told you before, right, I really love that like dark villain, like that just don't give a fuck, like the Joker in the Dark Knight, like just a real badass villain that you can't predict. That always goes toe to toe with the good guy. Not so much fighting, but more wit and brains, right? More having those really good conversations between each other. Yeah.
You would probably love the Superman then.
The new Superman movie?
Yeah, you hadn't seen it yet?
No, but yeah, I kind of got that feeling. It's just from like I didn't spoil much myself. I just watched a few shorts here and there. But yeah, it does seem like Lex Luthor and Superman have some pretty good conversations between each other.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So anyway, like you see, this was a big sidetrack, but I'm sure people would most likely like to hear about, our thoughts about, like you said, the characters, the doing breakdowns, explaining stuff, or no anything that is interesting or that is a bit of a learning experience, right?
Absolutely, I agree. No, I would be down for that, especially like you say, like
Like I don't know if it needs to be specifically gaming, but from even from time to time, I even bring up, I put articles that I find interesting. Like for example, scientists have been able to make ice at room temperature with pressure. I I like explaining all of those things as well. So it can be really any subject, but like we just a subject that we can break down and talk about would be interesting.
okay, see, now you're cooking with fire, my dude. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So you were just mentioning at the beginning there, right? Like, what would be the next stage of season 4? I'm down for that. Like, I would be interested in like us just having a little conversation before the podcast takes place. Like give enough days, right? So everyone can have an opinion if they choose to join that week. But yeah, just having those random subjects. Like I'm down for that. I don't mind branching out and not just doing games and movies, but also just like you said, interesting articles and discussing that.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't need to, because that was my first question to you, was if you wanted to stick with gaming, which you said yes, but now you're saying you would prefer random different or like subjects.
Yeah, yeah. CK, this is me. If you haven't caught on yet, like when I ask those questions, like if someone doesn't give me like, ideas like branching out of it, like I probably won't think it on my own. But now that you're talking about this, you're like, yeah, we should talk about this. I'm like, yeah, man, that is a good idea. Like I need those like subtle suggestions thrown at me to really like think about it. Cause my mind right away was just like, well, what else would you talk about other than gaming? Like
Oh, like I've said previously, of course, for me, stories is what interests me. So for sure, that's what I would propose if there's something I would want to talk about, but doesn't mean most people would want to hear that or talk about that, right? Which is why I don't necessarily want to take a decision, right? I'm just spewing ideas, and
yeah.
like if you want to take it more into a direction where we talk more deeply about writing, like of course that would suit me very well, right? So
Yeah, no, I mean, like we said before, right? Like at the end of the day, whatever episode they might be watching, whatever subject we might be talking about, all I want them to take away from it is like, hey man, this is cool, this is chill, I like this, this is something I can just listen to as I'm doing whatever my task of the day is. And hopefully they'll come back and tune in next week because they just enjoy that genuine conversation. I don't know about you, but like or maybe it'd be good to hear from you like what you enjoy about the podcast you listen to. For me, I'm always about that conversation, right? I've bounced over from big podcasts to little podcasts, all over the board, from Theo Avon's right podcast to listening to about a podcast about psychology and about human emotions and all this kind of stuff, and then I'll go into gaming, right?
talking
It's
about Dr. K here.
what's that? Sorry.
We're talking about Dr. K here, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Dr. K is one of them. Another one is I think it's called The Bright Side. They have some really cool
Right.
discussions, right, and stuff like that. But yeah, but for me, like that's what it is. It's that if I find that the host and the co-host have a really good energy, and they're like you said, very passionate about whatever they're talking about the week, I'm more inclined to listen and possibly like again tune in next week, right, to see what the next episode is. Like I said, you might be different. Maybe there's a different view you have with podcasting. like what you're looking for.
Like, oh, I'm not looking for anything. That's the thing. Like you said, just a good conversation or whatever. But
Okay.
like maybe instead of having like a whole podcast around one random subject, you could have, a interesting, I don't know, interesting new thing that happened segment, right? Or something like that, where it could be anything. And then we move on to the main course, right? To what we actually want to, like the bigger subject, right?
Okay, I like that idea. Yeah. So like you said, right, you have a recap, right? Then you might have like you said, either the main subject, whatever it might be that week, and then after that's over with, you jump into interesting find of the week or whatever it might be, and then, ending it off with the round robin where everyone gets a chance to talk about their stuff. Like that'd be cool. I'm down for that. I like that idea.
Because, like I say, the most interesting thing with a podcast is people talking about a subject, explaining a subject, right?
Yep.
And not necessarily, oh, I went out with the kids and
Yep.
it, the my friend's baby barfed on me or whatever, right?
I did my hair today.
Yeah, people are interested about people talking and extrapolating on a subject of something that is interesting, right?
I agree. Okay. Um, sorry, go back to one thing because I was curious. I think I know the answer, but at the same time, I haven't beaten the game, so I might be completely wrong. But you picked Ghost of Tsushima, which I mean, I totally get why you want to do it, right? But I am a little bit curious, and I have to find out why not Bloodborne? You're so passionate about Bloodborne. Or is that like a video you're saving for a different time? Or is it because there's not enough story in Bloodborne to really break it down?
Well, it's more that it's open to interpretation. So,
Okay.
and there's already so many, lore videos and interpretation videos. Like, I just don't have really anything to add to all this, right? I don't have like I'll probably will talk about it at some point in the future, but like just currently, I don't have an idea of how I want to go through this because, like you said, yeah, there are characters and all that, but it's it's not very narrative. Bloodborne, it's the lore that's interesting, not necessarily the narrative beats. There's no narrative beats per se. There are cutscenes here and there, and you extrapolate what it all means through the lore and all that. But yeah, that is why. And Ghost of Tsushima, I was supposed to do it this month, but I still don't have a PC desk or anything. I'm still doing boxes and stuff, so it
Yeah.
will have to go next month.
That's okay. It'll be I'm excited to see that one because like I said, I never really played the game. So it'll be kind of cool to like hear like the breakdown of why this is.
Man, I've went through like over like 4 to 5 hours of cutscenes and stuff, and like I have so many scenes and stuff to talk about. Like I hope I can do it all in one stream, and that it it, it actually like stresses me out a bit because mess up and seem like I don't know what I'm talking about or anything, because it's also very it's very linked to a culture that isn't mine as well. So,
Oh, true.
but
Yeah.
from what I but I'll still talk from what I see when I played it. So I think that's the important part.
No, I agree with that. And is it like a pretty chunky game too to like cover? Like, is it pretty long? I'm not sure. Is it
Yeah,
like 40 hours or
yeah.
is it more than that?
It depends if you, because I took my time exploring everything and
Yeah.
finishing it. So for me, it was like 100 hours, over 100 hours.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. Holy.
yeah, and I didn't do it in one go. Like there were times where I put it down and I went to play something else as well. Like it wasn't in one go. there were some. It was a running joke in my household where people were saying I would never finish that game, even though I kept saying it was like really great and that I wanted to finish it. And so it took me a while to actually finish it because I kept doing other stuff in the game, right?
I get that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, just trying to think if there was something else I was gonna bring up earlier too. Oh yeah, yeah. When you were talking about movies too, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it might be off for the podcast. Maybe it might be good for something different. But anyway, I thought it'd be kind of cool too to even like talk about um movie like let's say okay example Final Destination Bloodlines that came out, right? Or The Conjuring Last Rites. If you haven't told this month, I can watch horror movies. But you know, even with the let's say the next one coming out of Scary Movie 6 or whatever the movie might be, I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about. Hopefully, it won't happen for Scary Movie 6, but how those movies destroyed the previous um, franchise that they had. Um, example, like I
Sure.
said,
No, that's a good one. Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't have like a lot of
And we could
positive stuff to say about.
those as well too.
Yeah, I didn't have like a lot of positive stuff to say
Right.
about like Final Destination's new movie, right? Compared to the older ones. But yeah, I don't know, it's got me thinking. I was just thinking like, it might be a cool thing like if we both see that movie, right, to kind of like take a moment, right, and discuss that about the changes that they made and why, as people who have watched the previous entries, why we think that that was the wrong decision to make at that time.
Yeah, no, no, it's definitely a good idea. And like I was gonna say, and you said it, like we could tell each other, okay, we should both watch this movie, and then we talk about it on the pod too.
Yeah. Okay, when you're thinking back to like the Superman movie, like I know, no offense, I know like you didn't watch the movie and all that, so you were just basing it off of what you thought and felt, right? But I thought that was still a um, cool debate to have, right? Like the new Superman direction story versus the old Superman direction, and why it's maybe not a bad thing or why it was a bad thing or whatever the case might be. I think when you have like movies like that, like it's really neat to have those kind of discussions and yeah, like just break it down on to the pros and cons of if you should watch it or shouldn't watch it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you could there's even a conversation to be had that in that 10-year period of like superhero films and movie franchises where they've I think there's a conversation to be had where for that 10-year period I think there was a lot of those decisions taken based off what was said or shown on the internet and not necessarily what the general whole audience thought, right? In the sense of, the Zack Snyder's fans, and that's me included, are very vocal, but they don't represent, I think, most of the viewers that what they want to see in a Superman, right?
Yeah.
Or, for example, or you could say the same for how Disney handled some of their movies, right? Where they see an online trend or something online, what people talk about, and then they think, well, that's what general audience see, and then it backfires because that the internet is not the general audience.
Yeah, yeah. Or you were talking about that, right? It just came in my head too. Even that simple discussion we had about the Ten Rings movie, right? You made a very solid point, right? Like I mean, as much as we were farting around talking about it, right? Like I totally get like where you're coming
The
from.
movie is shit.
Yeah, the CGI fighting is ridiculous, right? But I mean, me and Hood had a point, right? And I'm sure a lot of people felt that way too. It's just it's been so long since you had a martial arts movie that you're almost gasping or not gasping, sorry, you're almost grasping for anything, right? That's gonna come your way because you just there's nothing there, right? There that
Okay, but it's been so long since we've had an adventure movie. I'm not saying Uncharted is a great film. It's fucking shit.
No, I mean I get that, right? And like I said, there are people like you that have those standards, right? And they need that quality movie to come out, right? Not saying that couldn't be earned, right? Like obviously we want that too. But in the same breath, like I said, you're just so desperate already for something that you're just willing to go like, well, there was 5 minutes of martial arts, so that did it for me, man. Like,
Just
but
watch an older, better movie. Is that simple?
but
I mean, it's that simple for me because I have a whole, library of films and games and stuff. Like, I need to buy new furniture to put them all somewhere. So for me, it's easy
that's
to just
awesome.
pop in something and yeah, that's good and all that. It's also a good way to remind myself as well that actually that movie wasn't that good. Like it was a big nostalgia
True,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, I love. It's so weird. I love to destroy my own nostalgia. To put something I used to like and see how shit it actually is.
I get that, yeah. I've ruined a
Like
few
two
things.
shitty movies. They're bad. I love them. I used to love them, but they're bad now. They're bad.
Yeah. But like old kids TV shows, you're like, oh, I could probably watch that again. It's like, no, no, this is terrible actually.
And there's some stuff that age well as well. It's not all shit.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I love to rewatch stuff and keep myself in check and see if it actually ages well or not.
But I guess yeah, like what I was trying to hint at towards that was like the death of that genre. You know, I thought that'd be kind of a cool thing to look at too. If you want to talk about movies, right? I s-
Oh, for sure.
what was I trying to think? On top of my head, there was the vampire one you brought up, right? I thought that was really cool when you mentioned that. I was like, man, I want to look like what did the last 10 years have for vampire movies? And it's like you were bang on the money. Like there was a huge ass dry spell there for a while because of Twilight.
Yeah, I said Twilight destroyed the vampire genre. Nobody wanted to make a vampire film after Twilight.
Yeah, there was like very slim pickings. Like there were a few good ones that came out, but it's like even like looking at them, I was like, damn man, like that one really wasn't given a lot of recognition, even if it was good. And you're right, it's because like one movie literally took that fire
Well,
away from
one
them.
series of movies, it was so shit that it nobody wanted to see a vampire thing anymore.
Yeah, it was like nah, vampires sparkle. It's like no, they don't. Okay,
So yeah, no, that definitely is up my alley of stuff I like to talk about.
okay. No, then this was really good. Um, Before I end it all off, right? Just a flashback for anyone that tuned in at this point or skipped ahead or whatever the case might be. So the first part of the podcast there was the history of the Basement Gaming, the Two Tired Dudes podcast, and how it all started and began. The second half, I think we kind of captured that magic that we were looking for. If you enjoyed these kind of casual conversations and subjects we were dabbling into and talking about a little bit, that might be the future of the podcast because I kind of enjoyed it too. I guess missing not that I don't want to say interview style, but more of that just discussion of whatever the topic is that JW and myself are both passionate about, and hopefully other people that join the podcast too that are passionate about it as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good direction for season 4. And plus, you got to find out a little more about JW himself. Um, so I think you kind of hinted towards it, but we always ended it this way anyway. Is there anything to look forward to from Mr. JW as far as streaming goes? You were mentioning right the Ghost of Tsushima video and stream.
Breakdown of Ghost of Tsushima, the character's story, and I'm bringing back the mirror board, so it will be a chunky, big explanation and all that. So
I love it.
we'll be diving deep. And so if you remember the mirror board, you remember that we do a bit of a visual explanation, like a normal whiteboard or whatever, with drawings, post-its, and whatnot. So there's that. There's more small gaming videos that are coming of demos that I've tried. And yeah, I'm trying to concentrate as well on more writing once I'm settled in and I have this I'm talking about is once I'm settled in and I have a setup, because I'm currently talking with my phone. I don't have a desk or anything right now. So once everything is set up, I'll start again. And yeah, more writing and probably more content geared towards writing in general, and
Nice.
a bit of gaming, movies and stuff. So a bit all over the place, really.
And I said not like you ever picked the wrong games to stream or anything like that. But I've told you this many times, right? I love when you do these demo and indie titles. I don't know, like I said, right? It's that energy that you have that just shifts and change, right? It's like that. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna play this game and give my real honest opinion on it, right? But yeah, I always
So
find
it's
those.
because I'm not concentrated. When I like it too much, I'm concentrated and just sucked in, right?
Yeah, it's just really
So
cool.
when it's a demo, it's more loose, and because I know it won't be saved or anything, so I'm just doing that.
Yeah, no, those ones are always, like I said, really enjoyable. Just watching you play, or even like I said, right, just those indie games that you find, whether they're terrible or not, right? It's just funny listening to you go throughout it and giving your thoughts and opinions on it.
And I'm not charitable for some. So.
Well, yeah, like some of them are, terrible. Nice. Okay.
Well, I'm
Well,
saying this because I maybe behind the scene, I did have a dev contact me at some point of not exactly happy with what I said with the demos. So
really?
that's why
Wow.
yeah. So be warned. I don't uh, be warned. It's not. I'm not going easy on those.
I'm actually shocked that someone reached out to you for that. Like, I always assumed that'd be like people with like thousands of subscribers and stuff. I didn't think they just go after anyone that did their videos. Wow.
Well, I guess they're being recommended because I covered it or whatever, and it's their game, and
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it's through X or through, because it was a YouTube comment, so I don't know if it's through X or whatever, but um,
that's
yeah.
cool, man. That's like shit, man. That's really awesome. It's like you hit the big time. You pissed off a dev.
Yeah. But I was like, well, thanks for reaching out, but this is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing the game, right?
Whatever.
Like, I mean, you're gonna be honest about it. It's not like you'll be like, "Yeah, it's the best game ever. Definitely pay the money for it."
Yeah.
All right, my dude. Well, I said unless
So
you have.
what about you? What do you have coming, Mindful?
Oh, for me, okay. Well, like you guys may or may not have saw, with Kill Switch, we're doing those wrestling videos. So that's a lot of fun. It's more exciting than I thought it was gonna be commenting on a wrestling match that I'm not playing. I don't know.
I want to see this. I still haven't had time to see it. I definitely want to see it. I love those sort of stupid NPC matches, and you
Yeah.
come people coming over, and it's just hilarious the behavior they do and the comments. And so I'm excited to see how it sounds.
Yeah, like I didn't think it was gonna be like a really like I mean obviously I was excited to do it with him, right? But yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be like an exciting thing to watch. And I was surprised how like into it I got and like yeah. So my phone was a little unhinged, some of the comments he said, but at least you got to see what I was like when I was a teenager watching wrestling. Um then sorry, I have the award show, right? So as of now, what date are we at? Sorry, it is the 21st. So there's less than 30 days for everyone to start casting their votes. So I'll definitely fire out a few more reaction videos for you guys. One in
Oh yeah, I
particular,
need to vote.
yeah, well, I mean, it's still lots of
I
time,
forgot.
right? Um, Shout out to actually 2099's server there for giving me the newest award, worst opinion of the year. I thought that was kind of an interesting one. They had a few others that I
Yeah,
can't
that's
use,
good.
but yeah, that one I thought was kind of neat. um, But yeah, so we that one I'll be ramping up. One of the ideas I had for the reaction video was I was gonna go into everyone's Twitter, and kind of look at some of their posts and react to some of the things that they said, whether it was a wild opinion or whatever the case might be. So there you go. You might have your worst opinion, or you'll have your pick for best social media, depending how that goes. um, and other than that, yeah, just more streams. Like I said, this time of the year is a little rough for me because it gets busier at work and I get more tired. But I'll try my best to stay tuned for my streams. Like I said, for the end of the month here, I'd love to finish Resident Evil, and then next month, I have a few games that Jimmy wanted me to play. Back on Marvel Rivals finally. Fuck, can't wait. And oh man, it's killing me. Like just playing horror and like not playing like games I've been playing for the last year already. It's just
Well, technically, there's a horror mode to Marvel Rivals. There's a zombie mode, no?
that's true. That's true. I could get away with it because of that. You're right. Yeah, maybe I should just sink my teeth into the zombie mode.
I'll join you once I have my whole setup done.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good time. Um, what's that one you want me to play? Sorry, there was one that was recommended by one of my coworkers. He's in the Discord too. It was The Outer Wilds. That's the one he wanted me to get. He said it.
Oh, not the Outer Wilds.
Apparently, he was like blown away. He had like all this positive stuff to say. He's like, "Please play it."
I
He's like, "I
know.
want to
Everyone
watch."
has.
He's like, "I really want to watch you play this." I was like, "Okay." I was like, I'll give it a chance if you're that passionate about it." Yeah, so that'll be one of them. Hexen will be another one with Jimmy because he saw that was remastered. We both wanted to play it. I haven't played since the N64, so it'll be really fun to jump back into that game. Yeah, yeah, that'd be it.
Yep.
Well, Miss JW, like I said, if you have anything else to add, then we'll wrap her up.
The only thing I think I'll add is I think I may have the worst opinions, but the best arguments.
You are really good. Yeah, I said having a debate.
In the sense of, I'll say something that, for example, uh, Skyrim is not that good. And then there would be an uproar because it sounds like a trash opinion, but then I'll bring up some really logical and decent points that cannot be rebuked.
Yeah, I know Shia would definitely agree with that. She always gets flustered. She's like, "Oh, does he not like anything?" Like,
No, everything's shit, Cheyenne.
even Mom agrees. Apparently, they're in chat. Hey, Mom.
Oh, I guess I have a reputation of hating everything.
No, about having good debates. She was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you guys all have yourself a beautiful evening. Like I said, hopefully, um, you guys will fire off some of your own opinions and thoughts of what you would like to see in season four's podcast, or if you like the ideas that JW and myself were combing over during this episode. It went a lot longer than I thought, but I liked it. Like I said, it was a real nice flow of conversation. That's what all you can hope for in a podcast. But JW, as
Well, as
always.
long as the Chromebook can handle it, sure.
Yeah, once I get a nice laptop, we're really gonna be sky rolling here. Um, but yeah, JW as always, my dude. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for staying for now. I think 2 or 3 seasons at this point. Yeah, just thank you for being an awesome dude, man. Like, just I really appreciate you.
Yeah, me too.
You appreciate yourself too. Okay, okay, cool.
No, in
I'm
the
just
sense,
bugging you.
I have the same feeling towards you.
I'm
I
just
didn't want
bugging.
to repeat everything. But that's okay. We can make the podcast longer, have more editing, have the Chromebook with heat and
Oh, that last episode
data,
just
too much data.
the last episode frustrated me because I had so many good edits in there. And I was like, "You fucker, you didn't even download it properly, you bitch." Yeah,
Time to get a PC, like
I know. I definitely will be. That's my told Cheyenne that's the goal for next year
we've been
already.
saying it for years, but I think it's pretty drastic right now.
Yeah, no, it's proving more and more like how much I need it at this point if I want to take this any further. I really need to just upgrade it already so I can have that quality. But yeah, I hope you guys all have yourself a beautiful night and catch you all next time.
Yeah. Till next time. Bye.
Bye. Uh, well, even disconnecting took forever. And then the final part, like I always do with you guys. So again, Mom, you just joined in. So if you didn't get to hear in the past hour and 20 minutes, we were just discussing um, the podcast, how it started, where it went to, every idea we tried out, um, JW's role in it, and kind of giving him more of a floor space to voice his opinions and thoughts on what he would like to see too, right? Because like I said, it's not just my podcast; it's his podcast as well. It's your guys' podcast as well, right? Like the whole idea was making this a community thing. So again, if there's something you want to see a different time of the week, you want us to do Fridays for the podcast, shout it out. You want me to um, make this more of just discussing interesting facts every week, shout it out. If you want to see less of mindful, I don't really care. Just put it in there, right? Put whatever you think, feel that the podcast should be and that you would enjoy listening to week after week. Again, I will say it. Thank you to everybody who takes part in the podcast. If you're just in here in the comments firing stuff out, if you're listening to it on YouTube, Spotify, I don't care where. I just love you. Thank you very much for doing it. It's been an amazing 3 seasons doing this podcast, and I'm really looking forward to season 4. I get giddy every single time I get to tell someone that I have a podcast and that they should join in and have that discussion. It's just a never-ending happy feeling of talking about it and having people come on and every episode being its own unique thing. Yeah, some may blend together, right? As far as gaming topics go, but it's when you get Spider, hopping on the podcast. When I have Mom hopping on the podcast. When I have Pizza, or even just like I said, just me and JW shooting the shit of stuff that we thought was cool or interesting this week. Those episodes are the ones that I have the fondest memories of, because it's really nice being able to sit down with someone that you normally don't talk to, or like I said, just a subject that you both, or so say a movie that you both watched that week, that you want to discuss. I live for those episodes. I love listening to someone and picking into the details of whatever they might talk about, right? Maybe games that they're passionate about, from their childhood or whatever it is, right? Yeah, I just really like those episodes, and I hope you guys do too. So anyway, I will end this now before I keep rambling. But please put your ideas, put your thoughts in the comments. Usually I get a few. I'm really hoping that I'm going to hear some more comments, even if it's just keep doing what you're doing. I don't care what it is. I just want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Bye, everybody, and I hope you have a beautiful night.